what you must get clear on when we say your messaging, we actually have a framework called a brand positioning statement. And I'm going to tell you the entire framework right now. Now, before I show you the framework, I want to let you know that typically it takes us on average 1 to 2 days if we're working with someone through one of our 1 day events or one of our our courses, which would go through this in detail over 2 days, or somebody would work with us privately one-on-one for 2 days, and you would get clear on your series of one things. Okay. So I'm going to give you the formula right now. It's called your brand positioning statement. It is a series of one things you must get clear on to have clear positioning in the marketplace. And clear positioning is the foundation of building a great speaking career. So here it is. This is the brand positioning statement framework. This is part of what we help people get clear on. It starts right there in the middle with what problem do you solve in one word? And are you clear on that? So we have to go, what problem do you solve in one word? Then we work on your message, which is how do you solve that problem in one sentence? And your message must be a command statement, an instruction. It must be practical. It must be something that people can stand up and do. We then concentrate that one sentence message down to a one word uniqueness. And this is a big part of the word that you're going to own, right? Dave Ramsey owns words like debt and cash. Brene Brown owns words like shame and vulnerability. Lewis Howes owns a word like greatness. Self-discipline was the word that I originally owned, right? That was originally how I broke through the wall. So there it is going, what word do you own? But it can't just be a word you want to own. It's got to be actually connected to a through line alignment of your entire brand positioning, your messaging, your expertise, right? It's got to be, and then we translate it externally into payoffs with one word cloud of the most important payoffs you provide. And then we got to look at your avatar persona. What one audience do you solve that problem for? With a one phrase description. And then what is the one underlying cause of that problem, which is really what you treat in your teaching. You market the problem, but you train to the cause. You solve the cause and the problem goes away as a byproduct. But your audience is not aware of the cause. That's why they have the problem. If they were aware of the cause, they would treat it themselves and they wouldn't have the problem. So you cannot market the cause and you cannot market the uniqueness. You must market the problem because the problem is the thing they're willing to admit that they have. If they're willing to admit that they have the problem, then they're willing to pay attention and then they're open to hiring you to solve the problem. But if you market the cause, the message, or the uniqueness, nobody is going to pay attention because those things are not going to resonate with them. So you must be clear on the problem that you solve, and you must have a really strong system for how you're going to do that. Now, we have over almost 900 members in our membership program at Brand Builders Group. We have things at all different price points and all different experience levels. Why do we do that? Because 17-year-old Rory started out broke as a joke. So we have some things for people who don't have a lot of money. We also work with John Maxwell and Ed Milet and, the people on the video that you saw, Eric Thomas and Jasmine Starr and Trent Shelton and Cody Sanchez and some of the most advanced people in the world in terms of personal branding. Those people have higher needs. They have more complexity. They also want one-on-one attention, and that tends to cost more. So we have things for everyone in the spectrum. But one of the most powerful things that has happened in the last year is the introduction of BrandBot. So we have created over 40 different custom AI bots that take our methodology and are available 20 to our members. They are built on the LLMs, right? So ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok, etc., as the backbone. But then we layer our proprietary confidential intellectual property from Brand Builders Group on top. And then it prompts you with exercises. And as you do the exercises, it builds the things, the assets you need, and it stores those in brand memory. For example, one of the bots we have is brand positioning statement bot. And so you will come in and you'll type and you'll say, these are the things that I'm thinking about for my problem. These are the things that I'm thinking about for my cause. This is my hypothesis about the avatar I serve. This is what I think the message is. And BPS bot, brand positioning statement bot, it has been trained on all of my live coaching calls that I have done with people who pay over 6 figures to spend a day with me, right? But it is now automated and available 24/7 at scale. It gives you a grade. It gives you a plan on how to refine it. etc., etc. That is one of 40 bots that we have inside the community, which gives them direct, live, completely customized coaching on your specific brand positioning, each of the different elements and exactly what you need to do. Now, is this working? I just want to share the story of Anton. So this right here is Anton Gunn. When Anton Gunn first started working with us, so first of all, he started speaking in 2015. At the end of 2018, right? So he'd been at this a few years. His best year in revenue was $138,000 in speaking fees. Now, his message and his marketing was all over the place because he was taking deals from anybody who would hire him on anything, trying to ride the trendy topics, trying to chase what was hot in the media. You know, people would ask for this, that, and whatever. Around the start of 2019, here's what happened with Anton. Anton grew from $100,000 a year in revenue to $1 million a year in annual revenues in under 5 years of working with BBG. This is a text message from him sharing exactly what his growth looked like. So he started in 2019. It was by the end of 2021 that he hit his first $1 million in revenue. Anton is one of 11 clients that have grown their revenue more than $1 million in annual revenue since working with BBG. Here are 11 clients who are sort of in our Hall of Fame who've grown their annual revenues more than $1 million a year since working with us. Now, it's funny, as I say this out loud, I need to update our slide deck because we've had more people exceed that. In fact, I don't mean to call him out, but I happen to see him. Blake Erickson is live in the chat, live with us on this call. So Blake Erickson is business partners with Dr. Ben Hardy. These are a couple gentlemen who have also grown over $1 million a year since working with us starting last year. They're doing really, really amazing things. And you can be sure that you're going to see these guys blowing up more and more and more and more everywhere because they work hard. They do things the right way. They execute. They're smart. They also get great coaching and they invest in getting a lot of coaching. I had a chance to work with them one-on-one last year. So this is another client that we worked with, Candy Valentino, a woman who is tearing it up. She talks about the same thing. She spent 6 figures on masterminds and personal coaching, never got the pieces she really needed to get her personal brand out there. She got clarity on the first 2 days of working with us, right? And that matters because you can't build a brand on a shaky foundation. You can't build a great speaking career if you don't have clear positioning. It just cannot be done. Now, does that mean that we did everything with her in 2 days? No. As I mentioned, we have a curriculum, right? Working with Brand Builders Group is it's less like a course and it's more like going to college. I'll show you quickly. This is our full journey. These are the 12 core areas that we teach people and help people and they work through in our program. If you were to request a call with someone on our team, what they'll do is they'll explain our whole process. They'll teach you the whole system, which by the way, even if you don't hire us, these I would argue are the steps you must do. And I would encourage that you must do them in close to this order if you're going to succeed. Now, it doesn't mean you can't succeed without us. You certainly could, and plenty of people do, but we can shorten the learning curve for a lot of people. And it's not that we can make you a millionaire overnight, but we can take what tends to take people 10 years or 20 years and get them there in more like 2 or 3.